Welcome to Money on a Mission. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Colin Evans and Dave Evans of Evans Financial Group. And you're probably sitting in the audience wondering what it feels like when you work with Evans Financial Group. Today's going to be a deep dive into that, because when it comes to retirement, it's not how much you make, but it's how much you keep. And so having a holistic written retirement plan is definitely a key to your success. Colin, how are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Thank you. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing better, but I got over it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome, awesome. So I thought it might be a lot of fun to walk the viewing audience through the process of what it is like when someone becomes a client. Okay. What does that look like when they're picking up the phone and coming in for the first time?
Well, when they're, number one, if they're calling the 800 number, they're going to get a live person, and they're going to have an opportunity to, if they say, I want information or I want to set an appointment, the person taking the call will have our calendar with them, and they will be able to set up an appointment either with myself or one of our other advisors. And then the next step is they're going to come in. But before they come in, typically we're going to send them some information, and it's pretty much like a questionnaire, and we'll say, fill this out to the extent that you feel comfortable, and bring back the documents that that we're asking for. And then they're going to walk into our office, and much like the way it's done around here, we'll have on our TV screen, welcome John and Mary Smith, with
nice.
a background picture. And then we'll first I'm just going to sit and talk with them. Now, we're going to schedule typically about an hour and a half to visit with them. We don't double stack appointments, so if they sit in the lobby, it's not going to be for more than about 3 or 4 minutes, and then they're going to be ushered into one of our conference rooms.
Okay.
And it may not take an hour and a half to do it, but we don't want to be shortchanged, and we don't want to cut them off in the middle of something if they want to have a dialogue. So we're going to begin to just ask them a lot of questions. In my experience, I find that I learn more by listening than I do talking.
Yes, we all do.
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Thou shalt use them in proportion to the number that God gave you. So
it's true.
So I'll ask them a lot of questions to find out about where they are. Not so much, why are you here, but they may say, hey, we saw you, or we heard about you. You referred to it. However, they came to visit with us, and then we'll just talk about what their plans are. What does retirement look like? And then I'll ask them, what do you do in your spare time? Because when you retire, that's like a vacation, because you have 8 more hours a day to spend money.
That's true. Every day is a Saturday. And
so I'll ask about whatever hobbies, what trips they take, what vacations they take, and what's the plans when we have man and woman at work, and now we have to have money at work. What are their plans in the absence of having visited with me? Just what would they like the ideal plan to be? So, and I'll be taking notes, and then typically, with their permission, I'll say, okay, now we're going to hold on to these documents that you've given me, shared with me, and we're going to set an appointment for you to come back about a week and a half later. And when we come back with a week and a half later, it's going to be pretty much organized and saying, here's where you are, and here's how where you are and what you're doing can get you to retirement, or if there's a shortfall, or if there's an overage. But we want to take into consideration inflation, certainly taxes, and we also want to take into consideration what they want. What do you want to do? Well, we want to travel. I had a couple in my office on Monday, and they said, we travel a lot. We want to travel. And wife said, I want to retire in 4 years, and he's going to retire in 6 years. And I said, then let's put that into the plan. So because you have to have a fund, if you will, for that travel, whether it's cruises or or trips or what have you. So we do a lot of listening, and then find out about where they are and where they want to be, and then that's when the rubber meets the road, and we set up another time for them to come in, again, about an hour and a half. And when they leave, If it's a husband and wife, or if it's just a single person, single woman, they leave with a live rose. And we always give them a live rose as just a token of saying thank you for coming in, and our experience is they appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So,
and Dave, where's the office located?
we are at 425 Ashley Ridge Boulevard, Suite 300, which is behind Outback Steakhouse off of Line Avenue.
Okay.
So and pretty much everybody knows where that is. And when you pass the steakhouse to the Blue Cross office, you turn into Ashley Ridge Park, and you'll come in to see our office.
Thank you so much. Colin, I want to ask you a question. What do you typically find is the most common concern or questions that people have when they're coming in for the very first time? Is there something that's always the same vein?
You know, a common one, because it's a fear that sits in the back of their minds, is, am I going to be okay?
Yes.
You know, I was given a workshop at a barbecue joint in town called Silver Star, and this was back in about 2018. And I noticed a couple that were in there. It was a gigantic audience of about 60 people, and I kept saying to myself, I was like, they've been in before. I have seen them before. It's been several years, but they've been into our office. Well, they come in about a week later, and as we sit down, you know, one of the first things I said, guys, I said, you know, you guys came in, you know, a couple years ago. You came to a workshop then, and now you came to one last week, and you're here in the office. You know, what changed? You know, you know, what brought you back? You know, obviously something maybe kind of triggered that, and probably one of the most heartfelt moments that I had right then. The husband, Ron, he leans over. And he grabs my hand, and he holds on to it, and he said, I had a health scare, and I want to be able to look you in the eyes, and you tell me she's going to be okay.
Wow.
And it's just a powerful, powerful moment. And, you know, I know that's a weight on his shoulders as to be able to do that, because in the, you know, of course I don't want to see anything happen to him, but we know nature at some point occurs. You know, there's unfortunately death and taxes are something we can't escape. And visiting with them and being able to lay out an income plan, but his concern was, I want an income plan for her. I want to make sure that she is taken care of. He's like, this, you know, this is my cowgirl. I've been the cowboy, taking care of her. I want to be able to pass the buck, and you make sure that she is taken care of. What not only a tremendous honor to be asked that, but you know, that is also that's a weight that's given, you know, that's given to our firm, and we do not take that lightly. You know, that's an empowering thing. It's like, I am here to make sure that she is okay, because I know at nighttime, if he gets the opportunity to look down, I want him to smile and go, you know what? I made the right choice.
Yes.
I made the right choice.
Yes.
She's
Job
good.
well done.
She's good.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, I've never heard you or Colin say that you've had an income plan blow up. Let's talk a little bit about that. How are they designed and constructed?
Well, typically, when we're doing the planning process, we want some guaranteed income stream in there. We'll take into consideration if they have a pension and Social Security and so forth, but we also want to have some instruments in place that will guarantee a lifetime income. And, you know, a lot of times I'll say, we're going to pay you this money, whatever it is, $1,500, $2,000 a month, whatever, until you run out of air or we run out of money, whichever is longer. Now, I got to clarify that and say, that means if you live to be 106 and this pile of money that we're talking about is long gone, those checks will still keep coming to you.
Wow.
But if you die before you get this money out, then the balance goes to your loved ones. Now, and for that reason, it's not going to blow up. It's going to be guaranteed with a capital G. Now, one of the things that people talk about in the marketplace is, well, I have you know, a stock account or an account with a wirehouse or whatever, and I will tell you that you can't get typically a guaranteed income forever from a non-guaranteed account. I mean, that's just, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, you know, it's the only solution, but in fact, years ago in the brokerage industry, the They used to say, typically rising up, realizing you're going to have ups and downs in the market, you could pretty much take out 5 to 6% per year from your pile of money, and you will still be okay, and probably not run out of money. That word scares me.
Absolutely, it does.
But then as the market changed, they went down to a lower number. They said, okay, now it's down to about 3 or 4% because they have to account for like what happened in 2008. And that's during that time period, the market dropped about 50%. And that's pretty devastating. You can't afford that drop while you're in those retirement years.
It's true.
So we want a guaranteed plan that's going to provide an income for typically both of their lives.